Baba nipe maji, maji, maji ya uzima, unitakase na damu, damu ya baraka. Mimi mwanao najikabidhi mikononi mwako, unioshe nitakaze, unifanye wako.
Baba unifunze kwa shule yako, unifunze mienendo yako, unitunze na nguvu zako, nisafishe mimi mwana wako. Baba unifunze kwa shule yako, unifunze mienendo yako.
In the day, what a beautiful I don't know. (2025). So my name is Tuesday. All right, should I say welcome back or welcome? It's a beautiful morning, November 2025. A show that keeps you informed, updated on everything business. If you're just starting up as an entrepreneur, you're a seasoned entrepreneur, you're a veteran in your field, this is a show for you. Especially, it's so influential, especially to the young people who feel stuck in their careers, who feel stuck lacking communication and leadership skills, who feel stuck lacking opportunities or information to opportunities. This is a show for you because we bring a variety of guests in different fields, both locally and internationally, to help you grow as a person. So on this 18th day of November 2025, every year on the 18th day of November, it's a day where we celebrate, it's a day to mark, it's a day to celebrate men, and this is celebrated as anti-violence against men. It's a day marked to honor or to create awareness against men. So that is very interesting because it coincides with the day of making awareness on or remembering those children who are assaulted sexually. So it's a day combined for the mental health of the male child, of the boy child, also children in general. So we're really out of this day, but so that we mark gender-based violence. So if you're in the country and you're keen on social media, what is happening, you saw what was happening, was trending yesterday, where was alikuwa anagombanisha son-in-law, and they were saying that, you know, you cannot beat my child, and much reaction online if it different. So that is just mention that we campaign on violence against men, and also in remembering or taking care of the children who are in mental health. So that are shaping the state of the nation. Of course, this is from newspaper review. Even before we mention what is happening or what is on the headlines, yesterday we had government websites, several government website hacked. You all know that. So we have the Kenya Kwanza government and the United Opposition both camping in Mbeere North anticipating the by-election that are going to be happening next week. That is on the 27th of November 2025. That is on Thursday. So both teams are pitching camp in Mbeere, and it's now a push and pull, ni vita ya maneno between the government and the opposition. So that is also happening in the country. You're all aware of that. You're all aware of the recruitment, police recruitment, and what that means for the country. You're all aware of bribery in the country. So those are stories shaping news today. And just to give a brief overview of what is happening, I'll read a few headlines of a few newspapers that I have here with me. So the Standard today is talking about police bribe racket. And this, if you're in Kenya, you know, kuna pesa enye ukipanda matatu that they will all give to the police officers, whether not roadworthy, you will always give it. The Standard are giving analysis that around 1,000 shillings is collected from each matatu. So around 1,000. And remember, this is a brief of it. And they, the police are given, you know, you need to bring this amount of money. They're given targets. If you don't meet the target, you're either transferred, you may lose your job, you know, things like that. So this is corruption that is almost in the system, and it's very difficult to fight because those people you're supposed to report to are the ones who are giving targets. So it's a situation really hard to manage. Really monitor that is in Uganda. Basically, talking of 27 epic race, Ruto numbers against Gachagua, and this is asking if Ruto gains support or gains the Orange Democratic Movement, he bags the Orange Democratic Movement, is he able to win against the United Opposition? Because so far he has around 21 to 24 counties that he has hold of. That is different from the opposition, which has around 15 counties, and these are counties that are densely populated. So are these numbers going to work for the opposition or for Ruto? So that story is given prominence on the Star, talking just matters of politics. And they also have an interview where they're saying Odinga's former spokesperson why ODM should support Ruto, and that story goes on and on. So another story here, another newspaper, we have the People Daily, and they're also talking of politics. Who will win the Mount Kenya vote? The crucial factors poised to shift the rest. So these are prominent leaders right now who all of them are eyeing that seat, and that is Rigathi Gachagua, William Ruto, Kalonzo Musyoka, George Natembeya, Fred Matiang'i, and Martha Karua, all eyeing the Mount Kenya votes. So Taifa Leo says wachezeana rafu, and that is between that is within the United Opposition. And also there are other stories that I talked about there. Nasir aonya wanafiki katika ODM. Njia ni ipi kwa Gavana Orengo? Vijana wachache wajitokeza kwa usajili wa polisi. So that is on Taifa Leo. And they also have something interesting. Wadukuzi are the hackers. Wadukuzi wafanyia serikali ile kitu. So you've learned a new word today. Wadukuzi, hackers, wafanyia serikali ile kitu. And so far they're saying that everything is under control, and that is, it's back to normalcy. And we have the Daily Nation giving prominence to Wadukuzi, hackers paradise, and they have given statistics of what has been happening from 2016, from hacking of the KPLC, from hacking of the National Treasury, or that is KPLC, we have KRA, Kenya Airports Authority, eCitizen, and the Ministry of Department that is in so they have given events of what has been happening in different and easily to manipulate. So that is given prominence on the Daily Nation. Those are the newspaper that you're having this morning. So the stories that we'll be talking about will be revolving around those stories. Remember, this is the final week or the final lap of those sitting for the Kenya National Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education. Today they are sitting Business Paper 1 and Agriculture Paper 1. The rest will follow. For the rest of the week, they'll be sitting for Paper 2. Those who are doing business, agriculture, and physics, they will be going home because physics will be the last paper that will be given on Friday. That is physics paper, the last paper of physics. So those are among the headlines in the country. And just remember, in matters business, that the shilling has lost value against the dollar, and this is after months of stalemate. And we were really enjoying the stability of that. But as we are right now, the shilling has lost value or is depreciating in terms of value as compared to the dollar. So that is on the updates this morning in terms of business and matters as state of the nation. At this point, I want us to take a look at what is happening on our roads. It is exactly 37 minutes past the hour. What is happening on our roads, and of course, what is the weather situation in different cities, different towns across the country. All right, now I am taking a look at the traffic. This is according to Mr. Google. And if I look at it, tributaries leading to town, it is as expected, because I am looking at Thika Road, the normal places from Garden City all the way to Outer Ring, all to town. There is a snarl up, and this is always expected. And we have this affecting those people coming from Kiambu Road. Earlier this morning, we had stalemate along the Outer Ring Road. But right now, if I look at it, things are looking quite okay. That is all the way to joining to the other bypass. This is the Eastern Bypass. Joining to the Eastern Bypass, I'm seeing it's moving smoothly, but around the stages, that is not bypass, that is pipeline further along the stages, there is a stalemate. I don't know if it's because of the stages or what is happening, but close to stages there is a stalemate or there is a snarl up. So if it's, though it's moving, it's not like imekawia sana watu wamesimama. Those people using Jogoo Road around Makadara, there is also slowdown around those regions. Those people using the Eastern Bypass, wakitoka further, joining to Eastern Bypass, joining to Airport Road, to Mombasa Road, there is snarl up. So if you can find alternative, I don't know where the alternative is, but you just have kutulia. Wale watu wanatoka, what is this called? Not Umoja. Those people using Eastern Bypass. So your way, joining through Mombasa Road, mkitumia the bypass or mkitumia the Airport Road, your road looks, there is a snarl up along that road. And those people coming from the western part of Nairobi, the roads look quite okay, except those coming along Kileleshwa, Lavington, there is a, so you might want to use a different road. Those people coming from Ngong Road today, this is interesting because the roads are looking quite okay, except around the Junction Mall, of course. That's where there is a little bit of slowdown, but it's in yellow, so definitely it's moving, not like what we are seeing on Thika Road. Other tributaries leading to town, I'm seeing things are quite okay. And if you're joining to Nairobi, around the Globe roundabout, there's also a little bit of slowdown, so you might want to use a different route. So that is on the traffic situation this morning. If you those people using roads around the Nyayo Stadium, you might also want to use a different road, because those tributaries joining to Mombasa Road, there is also very heavy traffic along those roads, so you might want to use different roads. Now that is on the traffic. And at this point, I want us to take a look at what is of the weather situation in different cities in the country before we take a look at what the Kenya Meteorological Department is telling us this morning. If I begin with Kisumu, now it's 21 degrees Celsius. It feels like 25 degrees Celsius, and throughout the day there's 5% chances of precipitation. That means it will mostly be cloudy and hot, because we have highs of 30 degrees Celsius to be witnessed around 2 p.m. today. So it's a warm weather in Kisumu. Taking a look at the weather situation in the northern part of Kenya, that is Wajir, it is 26 degrees Celsius, feels like 28 degrees Celsius. That is very high, and it's 7 a.m. So that is a weather that we're expecting in Nairobi at around midday kwenda huko, but right now it feels like 28 degrees Celsius in the northern part of Kenya. Throughout the day it's purely clouds, no sign of precipitation, and they'll be receiving a high temperature of 34 degrees Celsius. Taking a look at the Rift Valley region, and specifically Eldoret, it's now 17 degrees Celsius. It feels like 16 degrees Celsius throughout the day, no sign of precipitation, but they'll be receiving warm temperatures later on to around 23 degrees Celsius. So that is on the Rift Valley region. And finally on the central region, that is specifically in Nairobi, it's now 17 degrees Celsius. It feels like 16 degrees Celsius, 40% chances of rainfall at around 11 a.m. And throughout the day, there's also 30% chances of rainfall in the evening. I don't know how that will go, because today there's 20% chances of precipitation. That is according to Google. And right now it feels like 16 degrees Celsius. So it's going to be alternating between a warm temperature and the 20% chance of precipitation. So that is in different cities across the country. Taking a look at what the Kenya Met is telling us, the weekly weather forecast from the 18th to the 24th of November. Most areas to remain sunny and dry, with rainfall expected over the Central Highlands, Lake Victoria Basin, Rift Valley, Coast, Southeastern Lowlands, Western and Northeastern Kenya. Maximum temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius expected in the coast. Perfect weather for a vacation. Northeast and Northwest Kenya, parts of Southeastern Lowlands, Rift Valley and the West And minimum temperatures below 10 degrees Celsius expected in Central Highlands, Rift Valley, Western Kenya and near Mount Kilimanjaro. So if you're planning to go for a vacation in the coastal region, it is a perfect time for you to go. Wanafunzi wanamaliza mtihani, so it's a perfect time before upeleke watoto ushago, wapeleke waone bahari na wakule karafuu ama ni viazi karai. So you might want to do that because it's a perfect weather for that. That is on the weather and traffic update. I want us to take a look at what is shaping the world of news in a short while. Alright, now it's time to get you updated on what is shaping the world of news and probably what you missed out if you didn't watch your news. So the National Police Service, NPS, yesterday launched a nationwide police recruitment exercise across 447 centers, an exercise that was set to take place for only 1 day. With thousands of Kenyans turning up to participate, NPS aims to recruit 10,000 officers. Recruits underwent rigorous physical and medical examination under the supervision of recruitment officers to determine whether they are fit for training. This recruitment comes after a dispute between the National Police Service (NPS) and the National Police Service Commission (NPSC) over who has the legal authority to oversee police recruitment. However, the Employment and Labor Relations Court granted the Inspector General the authority to conduct the recruitment.
We are set on our trajectory because we're also looking beyond recruitment. We're also looking at the 2027 when you have the general elections. These are the officers who will be on deployment to ensure that we have the right environment to allow the people of Kenya exercise their civic duty. Then, and many others to ensure that our country remains safe.
So on the same note on recruitment, make me understand this. You can tell me this on the comment section. There are several young men who really complained of why they were locked out of this recruitment process or the selection. One was complaining that why is he locked out because of his height, yet he sees so many short police officers in service that if he is denied that job, let all short police officers also go home, because he believes that is not a ground for him to be disqualified. There's another one who was complaining that he was disqualified because he has flat feet or flat foot. Is that a basis of recruitment, or what exactly are the police officers looking for? And why do we have people with such qualities in office when during the recruitment that cannot happen? Or is it true that indeed those positions are bought with large sums of money, as low as 100,000 Kenyan shillings to as high as 500,000 Kenyan shillings? Are those positions really bought, and the recruitment is based on who paid, and going there for those training or selection is just a formality? Give me that response on the comment section. Now moving on, President William Ruto has called on global judges to formulate strong and responsive international laws to address the needs of migrants. He said the integrity of refugee and migration systems can only be maintained through a combination of robust legal frameworks, better judicial appreciation of migration dynamics, and African-led solutions.
Speaking at the official opening ceremony of the 14th Conference of the International Association of Refugees and Migration Judges here in Nairobi, President William Ruto has made a direct call for judges to balance legal rigor in their judicial duties.
Through cooperation and knowledge sharing, judges can develop a consistent global jurisprudence that ensures fairness no matter where the claim is heard. Justice must not depend on geography or chance.
The conference, organized under the theme Protecting the Integrity of Refugees and Migration Systems, focuses on Africa's role in managing the large number of refugees. Regional conflicts, climate change, and governance challenges are cited as the main causes of driving migration across the African continent. The president also mentioned the recent Shirika Plan initiative, stating that it is designed to transform long-standing refugee camps in the country, such as Dadaab and Kakuma in northern Kenya, into more integrated settlements, moving away from reliance on aid from various global organizations and embracing social and economic inclusion for both refugees and their host communities.
This visionary program seeks to transform refugee camps into integrated settlements, where refugees and host communities can live, work, and prosper together. It is a bold shift from encampment to empowerment.
Chief Justice Martha Koome emphasized the judiciary's role in safeguarding the global protection system, especially concerning refugees and migrants.
The integrity of the refugee and migration systems is also the bedrock upon which the safety, dignity, and rights of millions of people depend. It is about ensuring that our laws and policies are fair, just, and applied consistently.
Integrity is not merely a technical or legal concept, it is the bedrock of trust. It is what allows a refugee to believe that her or his claim will be heard fairly. It is what assures host states that their generosity will not be exploited. And it is what enables judges to apply the law with confidence.
Rajab Juma, KUTV.
Now, various communities from northern Kenya who have previously been involved in conflicts gathered in Nanyuki town, Laikipia County, at the weekend in a colorful cultural extravaganza to promote unity and harmonious coexistence. Speakers emphasized the need for communities to promote peace both while in the diaspora and while at their native homes by desisting from engaging in vices such as cattle rustling and banditry, which has been the cause of hostility among the pastoralists.
Kwa kunipa nafasi niwe na ninyi leo, nimekuja kujumuika na jamii ya kwetu, hasa jamii ambao wanatoka sehemu wanajiita Kushites. Hii ni wamekuja kusherehekea utamaduni wao, wakiwa wamemchanganyika, wakiwa na sherehe na furaha, kuimba wimbo aina kila aina, wameonyesha display pia chakula, wamejenga manyumba tofauti, na ni siku ambayo inajumuisha hasa wale wakiwa hapa mara nyingi wanakuwa mbali na kwao kama Marsabit, Garissa, Mandera, Isiolo na sehemu zingine. Leo wamekuwa hapa kuonyesha utamaduni yao na pia kufunza watoto wao ya kwamba hawa wakiwa wanaishi hapa Nanyuki pia waelewe lugha, waelewe utamaduni, jinsi ya kuvaa, jinsi ambao wanaweza kuwa pamoja. Hiyo ndio imetuleta hapa na nina furaha zaidi kuungana na hawa, na ujumbe wetu ni moja tu: wakiwa hapa waishi kama wana Kenya, lakini pia watunze na walinde utamaduni yao kwa faida ya watoto wao kwa siku za baadaye. Kwa mambo yote ambayo inahusu maisha yao ni vizuri washirikiane, hasa wenyewe na washirikiane na jamii hapa, ili waweze kutambulika na waweze kuonekana, waweze na furaha na waweze kujitahidi na kuchukua nafasi ya vio tofauti sehemu ambao wanaishi. Hiyo ndio lengo letu ambao tumewahimiza. Wasiwa wanaishi hapa kama wageni, waishi kama wenyeji, lakini wenyeji wakiwa na utamaduni na wakiwa na nafasi na fursa kushindana na kufanya biashara na kama Wakenya wengine. Hiyo ndio jambo imetuleta hapa. Pia na pongezi baadaye, lakini wakae na jamii wale wengine ambao wanaishi pamoja, kwa sababu umoja ndio nguvu.
Now, a coalition of women's organizations in Mombasa has successfully raised 10 million Kenyan shillings to support medical services for women and children in Gaza, an area heavily affected by war. The women have appealed to Kenyans and donors from various countries to show compassion and humanity towards victims. The chairperson of Voice for Palestine, Ahmed Sharif, said Gaza continues to experience massive destruction, leading to while approximately 165,000 people have received treatment for injuries.
Kujitokeza kuzungumza na kutetea haki ya hawa wanyonge ambao wanauawa bila sababu. Tuwachangie, tuwatolee msaada. Hivi tulikuwa tunachangisha pesa ya matibabu.
Na mimi ni mzazi na ni mama. Wakati tunaona watoto wanahangaika, watoto wanateseka, hawana matibabu, na tulipoletewa habari hizi tulisimama kidete kama wamama. Uchungu ule wa mama kwa mwanae, si lazima uwe umemzaa yule mtoto, lakini ule uchungu kama mama tunahisi, tukasimama sote wa mama wa Mombasa kidete katika kuhakikisha kuwa tutafikia hiki kiwango cha milioni 10 zipelekwe Gaza kwa kusaidia watoto na kusaidia wakina mama wanaohangaika bila matibabu katika ugandamizi na unyanyasaji wa Netanyahu na mashirika mengine ambao wanahusika katika kugandamiza Waislamu.
Ni lazima kwa kila mtu aliyoko hai katika hii dunia sahihi kunyosha au kuenua sauti yake kupinga dhulma kama ile. Iwapo tutanyamaza, mauaji kama yale yaendelea, dhulma kama ile yaendelea, itaweza kutuathiri mpaka kwetu huku leo mauaji kutokea na tutaweza kunyamaza.
Now, physical activity program has been launched in Malindi to protect school-going children from engaging in criminal activities, drug abuse, early sexual activity, and other illegal behavior during this long December holiday. The initiative aims to involve young people in sports activities to keep their minds focused and engaged. Take a look.
Stakeholders and the Malindi community in Kilifi County have launched a special initiative dubbed Okoa Malindi to rescue school children from getting involved in crime, drug abuse, premature sex and other harmful activities during the long December holiday.
Watoto wengi watakuwa kwa mitaani idol, na tunaelewa idol ni kutengeza ushetani. Tukaja na fikra hii ya kuwa hawa vijana lazima tuwahami. Tutawahami namna gani? Ndio tukaja na mfumo wa kuleta activity. Iwe wale vijana wasikae mtaani, tukawaletea activity tofauti. Activity ya mpira, kwa asiweza kucheza mpira, awe ataweza kwenda kuogelea, kutakuwa kuna mashindano ya kuogelea, tuna mashindano ya skating, tuna mashindano ya baiskeli. Yote hayo ni kumfanya yule kijana asikae mtaani.
The program named Okoa Malindi aims to involve the youths in sports such as football, bicycle races and Quran recitation competitions, among other activities to ensure they remain active throughout the holiday.
Kijana leo anafanya drugs, je, tumfanye nini? Kijana leo amsikize mzazi, je, anafanya hivi? Sisi tukaweka hili kwamba kijana ukimleta karibu na wewe ni rahisi kukusikiza. Na kijana ukimtupa ni yule kijana ambaye leo tunaona kwetu hapa Sheila kwamba vijana anatupiga mapanga. Si makosa yao, ni kwamba sisi wazazi tulitupa jukumu letu kama wazazi. Sasa wale wazazi wale watoto wanalipiza kwamba mimi nilikuwa nimeanza drugs, ukanichukia, ukanitoa nyumbani, jirani naye akakataa kunipa chakula. Sasa mimi nakuja ni revenge. Haya naona yote nafekanya Maweni, Sheila kote ni revenge ya vijana wetu kwamba tuliwatupa, kwamba kijana kuharibika ndio maisha yanavyokuwa. Kijana wako Waswahili anasema nguo kiingia mavi haitupwi, inasafishwa.
Organizers say more than 200 community members gathered and contributed about 350,000 Kenyan shillings to create the program, which will run every week until the end of the holiday, culminating in competitions where winners will be awarded.
As long as these kids are committed, we are having a better turnout in sports, and also changing the narratives. People used to view sports as michezo, just pastime or leisure, but right now I'm a true testament that actually sports can make money because I earn through sports. I don't do any other job other than sports. There's an international referee, we go out there, kitu kanaingia. When you go coach, kitu kanaingia. So sports has a very big industry. We just need to switch the culture of Africa from thinking ni mchezo tu, but tutafute kazi to actually rebranding and turning it to pro.
Kilifi County Government, through its sports department, has been called upon to support the initiative in order to help eliminate criminal gangs and rampant drug abuse along the coast. Glory Kadhure, KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, still on education matters, Kenyan universities in partnership with the private sector are scaling up technology-driven efforts to tackle youth unemployment. A recent inter-university hackathon held at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, JKUAT, brought together students from across the country to develop ethical artificial intelligence solutions designed to spur innovation and advance sustainable development.
Kenyan universities and private sector partners are joining forces to tackle rising youth unemployment through sustainable development using ethical AI-powered solutions focused on developing AI-based innovations in business, agriculture, health, education, and governance in line with the sustainable development goals. Professor Anthony Waititu, a lecturer at JKUAT, emphasized that such platforms bridge the gap between academic and industry by enabling students to apply theoretical knowledge to real societal challenges. He added that innovation programs keep the youth constructively engaged, reducing exposure to drug abuse and crime.
It's first to keep these young people busy because they are talented, they have the energy, they don't know where to take it. So if you involve them in a positive way through innovation, they are busy day and night, and through that they sharpen their skills. These people have a lot of time and energy. So if you don't involve them positively, then they find themselves idle, and that's how they slowly drift into the vices like drug abuse and alcohol. So we believe that through this hackathon and other initiatives by other scholars, we are able to engage our students positively and the youth, and through that we save them from that self-destruction route. We are coming.
On the other hand, Zehele Hatinde, Senior Manager of Sales and Marketing at Adapt It in South Africa, praised participants' creativity and affirmed the industry's commitment to nurturing promising ideas.
What we are hoping to do or achieve with the innovations that we've seen today is for us to come in to collaborate with the respective students, see how we can co-create or improve, the developments that have been created this year. We've got the capacity, we've got the ability for us to be able to expand the developments that have been done today. So
student innovators led by Alvin Waweru and Maureen Wanjala reported increased confidence and called for more funding to advance their projects. The event, sponsored by multiple corporate partners, awarded medals, trophies, cash prizes, and even immediate job offers to outstanding participants.
We have had a great experience here of the Innovation Week, where all students came with their innovation and ideas to be able to try and solve a problem that is currently faced in the world. So the students have been able to interact with industry experts, gaining insights, which has enabled us to actually soften and polish our skills and ideas so that we can generate more ideas and also move our ideas to the next level.
When we get support from the government, the private sectors like the funders who has supported this hackathon to go through, to support us through Wazi AI, I'm sure that we will bring up more knowledge to the citizen.
The hackathon reaffirmed the power of collaboration, inspiring young innovators and strengthening efforts to harness AI for Kenya's sustainable development. Lori Kadhure, KUTV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Glory. Now, before we take a short break, there are things that you had not known on what is shaping the world of news. Now, on education matters, I mentioned earlier that the Kenya's Certificate of Secondary Education will be ending on Friday. That is with the physics paper. But as that is happening, the Kenya Primary School Head Teachers Association and NAT are ganging up against the junior secondary school teachers, that is GSC, for what TSC brought, or the proposal by TSC, that the JSC teachers will be at par or above the primary teachers. So they're really, the KEFSHA and NAT are ganging up against JSC, saying that they are more experienced to be at par with those people who are just graduating or just getting into the market. They cannot be at par and they cannot be above them. At the same time, JSC in West Pokot are saying or are telling the government that they will not be going to class in January if there is no permanent and pensionable terms for them. Remember, at the moment, they lack a concrete organization for themselves as junior secondary school teachers. So they're hanging around. TSC is just balancing them somewhere. Right now, they're neither accepted by KEFSHA, they're neither accepted by NAT because of the proposal that they will be above them. So that is on matters education. And on matters other issues that you need to know is that Bonya Matuta, member of County Assembly, Julius Matere, tabled a motion in Parliament to impeach Nyamira Governor Amos Nyaribo. So there is also another wave of impeachment that we'll be seeing in the coming days, if at all that is passed by the Nyamira government. So an impeachment motion is looming around, and if it gets support, we may be seeing those waves coming back to the limelight again. So that is on matters that is shaping the news across our borders in Umbea. But just so you know, Suluhu appointed her daughter and Kikwete's son in prime positions in the cabinet in the recent reshuffle. So I heard someone say that the moment I began experiencing princess treatment or bougie life, I understood corruption, nepotism, and everything that comes with it. So I don't know if that is the case. But we are taking a very short break right here on KUTV. Coming up is updates on what is happening in Kenyatta University, just to keep you updated so that you don't miss a thing. See you after the break.
Jamii. Kupanda shuka akawa tuzo, ukakamavu wake ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke akabaini jinsi ya kuwini. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake mwake, nami Caroline Kimwele.
Mazungumzo ya moja kwa moja na wataalamu, vyakula vilivyopikwa na kukorombezwa, viungo mwake vya kipwani, ngoma zetu za asilia za Kimijikenda, bila kusahau tarabu na chakata. Yani wanawake Uswahilini watakuwa wakinengua na kuzungusha viuno kama panga boy za trekta ndani ya mitindo ya kipwani. KUTV ukiletewa moja kwa moja kutoka Salama Bling Beach Resort kila Jumamosi saa 10 jioni na Jumapili saa 4 usiku, ukiwa nami mtamu wako zaidi ya asali. Mimi naitwa Waridi Tamu. Mpenzi mtazamaji, usipitwe na matamu.
A new era, a new people. This is the Law Matters Show. A program that brings you legal sensitization on your television.
My statement is written and just the quote the prosecution.
I think that this loss is a setback for Raila Odinga.
What policy recommendations were fronted by the candidate?
With diversity, we demystify important legal issues locally, regionally, and internationally.
What Tanzanians.
Join me, Elvin Onsongo, as I bring you more insights on law matters.
We are looking at social issues. What is the problem? Is it the economy? Is it...
Law Matters Show, creating awareness, advocacy, and enhancing lives.
Welcome back. Now, I promised you earlier that we shall be informing you on everything that is in or happening in Kenyatta University. Now, two schools under Kenyatta University, KU Model School and KU Academy, received new learning and play materials designed to support early childhood education. This project is part of a wider research project carried out By Kenyatta University Women's Economic Empowerment Hub, commonly known as KUV Hub. The research took place in Tharaka Nithi County, where they found the need to carry out the initiative in line with the aim to empower women. The project aims to empower women to participate in economic activities while their young children attend school. Our reporter Rose Kaguku attended the event and filed the following report.
We started thinking of how do we relieve women of this load to be able to empower them. So we came up with a randomized controlled trial on children who are in play school, who are 3-year-old. So the idea was to have an intervention for children, get children away from the mothers, and enable mothers to be involved in economic activities. So this project was run with Kenyatta University as the lead, Yale University, University of Bangkok, University of West Indies, Tharaka Nithi as the county where we carried out the research, and the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. So because this research on randomized controlled trials required 2 expertise, early childhood, because we are dealing with children under 3 years of age, and then we needed another group on measurements, because we want to see the milestone of children in readiness to grade 1 intake. So we recruited 3 expertise from early childhood, and then 3 expertise from psychology to do the measurements. So at the very beginning, we did a baseline to see where are the children. Then from there, we now recruited the intervention school, which the PI will talk a little bit about it, and then the control school. So from 2024, we started running this intervention. So we have run this intervention for 2 years. But what was crucial was the curriculum, which Professor Mwama has alluded to. We had to come up with a program. We had to get permission from the Ministry of Education, because currently the policy only allows 4 years to be in school. So we got a policy from permission from the Minister of Education. We also worked with the county to come up with a policy to allow 3-year-olds in schools. And then we had actually to develop the material. So this material are locally developed material. We just developed within Tharaka Nithi. And then in terms of teacher training, we had actually to capacity the teachers, because the mode of teaching is child-centered, it's not teacher-centered. All right, so basically we have run this program for the last 2 years. We did a baseline, as I said, in 2024. We did a midline in 2025. Now we are carrying out an impact study. And just from the brief results from the midline, there's tremendous changes in the child, the 3-year-old. In fact, when we go to school, the teachers say, the 3-year-old have become the model for the whole school. Everybody wants to see how they are behaving, the discipline, just being courageous. And when they come to school, they are not the ones who start crying because they want to hang on the mother. As soon as the mother reaches the gate, they say bye-bye. They run to school because of this material. So VC, we thought that instead of taking our visitors to Tharaka Nithi, why not actually share the tool with our 2 schools, the model school and the KU Academy. And then, because we have a department of early childhood, they can use that those schools as a lab, so that they are able to actually be able to practice. But I would recommend, before I hand over to the PI, that as we hand over this material to the schools, we look for mentors to show the teachers in those respective schools on how to use the material. And I can bet within a term, you will see tremendous changes that we are seeing in Tharaka Nithi. Let me stop here and ask the PI to pick up from where I've left. Thank you very much.
The Vice Chancellor, thank you very much for this opportunity to just say what we have been doing in Tharaka Nithi. The first thing I want to mention is that this project was referred to as a randomized controlled trial, which we have popularly come to refer to as the RCT. and the RCT project of KU. So if you go to Tharaka Nithi and you mention RCT, immediately they will just link you to Kenyatta University and the many faces they have seen in Tharaka Nithi related to Kenyatta University. And this is not a normal project in social science. One will imagine that dealing with children, teaching with children, and so on is something that doesn't need testing. So an RCT is a process that's mainly applied in medicine, where they generate drugs, and then they have a dummy drug and a real drug they give people, and then they see how they react. So they are able to see a treatment group, and they are able to see the control group, and they see how they react. And from the beginning, we debated a lot on whether this will work when you are dealing with learning in a learning environment, and how is it going to work. So we spent almost 2 years, what Madam has not mentioned, actually just designing what we will do. First of all, to decide whether we are going to have a separate class or whether the children are going to be taught in the same class. So eventually we ended up agreeing that the 3 years old will be taught together with 4 years old, and for that to happen, we had to have 2 teachers in the class. So they co-teach and they share. But when the children break to smaller groups, then very specific knowledge at that age group is disseminated by one of the teachers, while the other teacher is also guiding the other children. And therefore, we recruited 60 teachers in the project, and the county gave us 1 teacher, and the program then started in 2024, a randomized control trial program, basically seeking to see whether if children are put in a good learning environment and they have everything they need in terms of materials for learning, will they enjoy learning? First of all, we just wanted to know whether they will enjoy learning. And if they enjoy learning, will they be developing as they are expected to? And if they develop, then they are ready for transition to the next class. So we are measuring development milestone and the readiness for school into the next class in this experiment for those children who are in the experiment. And the main thing about the RCT is also that to be able to design the experiment in such a way that you collect adequate data. So the project is about the data collection. It's about doing the intervention and doing it correctly, and collecting data correctly, and then analyzing that data to see what it is telling you. The main objective of putting the children in school was not actually to find out whether the children will learn. Our interest was that, and which came from the livelihood survey, the mothers had said that one of the challenges they have at their homes is to manage their children and do work for a living. So they spend a lot of time worrying about their children rather than just earning money in the market or going to the shamba. Or if they must go to the shamba, they go to the shamba with the mother, the child is at the back, or put them under a tree, and often they found the children sleeping with a snake or something like that for those who Tharaka Nithi, especially the lower ends. It was not a safe environment. So it's actually what promoted us to think that we can do something, an intervention for the mothers. The question is this intervention for the mothers helping the mothers improve on the economic well-being? Are they going to the shambas now more? And are they going to the markets and they're selling products, or are they producing something they sell and earn money? So the experiment is two-pronged. It's looking at the children and they see whether the children love going to school and they're developing well. And it's also looking at the mothers and to see whether the mothers are using the time they have to do their development. And therefore the project was about data, was about the analysis of that data, and also about communication. And we have had opportunities to communicate some of the results we have had, because we have collected data during baseline. We communicated that result to the county. We have collected data during the midline. That data we have found, we did some part of the communication actually in the university here, when I was requested to give a seminar to the university, and I thank the VO office because they gave me a whole 2 hours to just give a presentation on the project and the results that we are getting, and the staff got this very well. There were 200 of them online. And therefore the dissemination part of it and communicating what we are finding is very important. And we have done a communication also at the Devolution Conference in Homa Bay. They had the opportunity to share a platform with those who matter in Homa Bay, and they received it very well. And then we had an ECD national conference, the 6th one in Garissa, and we had an opportunity to share there. And we actually had an opportunity to present the kit in the exhibition. So one of our things we are seeing is an opportunity for Kenyatta University now to also be exhibiting what they are doing for early childhood development, just using just this set of kits. If that opportunity arises, it will be very interesting to present that one. I must say that the intervention team is just about doing things in their class. The measurement team is completely a different team. None of them is here today, but most of them are from the Department of Psychology. At least you have 3 lead researchers from the Department of Psychology led by Dr. Oteo, and there's also Esther Biashara and also Eunice Mufungu. They are in the project. Right now they are actually in the field collecting data for the end line or supporting data collection in the end line. And for them, even for them, they're basically monitoring that the data is being collected correctly. And we have an independent firm that is collecting the data for us called the Common Goals Research. One of the interesting things about this project is that it has helped us learn a number of things. And one of our learning, and which is a benefit to the university, is first of all financial management. Because there was a lot of movement of resources, personnel, and so on. And how to really ensure that the money is being spent correctly in the correct thing is another nightmare. But thank God, I think through the project, the university is going to have one of the tools for best financial practices that is coming out of now the whole project, but mainly also driven by the RCT activities. And we also had at one point, data was being mined from us by our partners, and we said no, they cannot just mine data for us. And it put us into a dimension where at one time the Data Protection Authority was here in KU.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's still morning, yeah? Good morning. Yeah. I think really, Vice Chancellor, for me, and as the member of the chair of the advisory board and also the head of the research division, this project has really been an ideal project in terms of research. We always talk about, research should have various components, and this is one research that had so many components and ideal for researchers in the university. And we can actually see the results of an ideal project because it was well funded. We had partners, and the researchers within KU have been able to carry out the objectives of the project, and until this point where we can actually see the impact in the communities. So I really think that this has been a project of research excellence and visibility because, as we have already heard, high quality evidence has been produced, and that is what has led the implementations on the ground. And so really, this has been an excellent research yielding very high quality evidence on the ground. Another thing is that really this is also innovation is evident from this research. We can see that now we're talking about taking children at 3 years of age into school. And we have even seen what it is that would enable the students to develop their potential to their maximum, and even the approaches to teaching. And the whole project is really just visible that we have innovation ingrained in the whole project, and the result is just a new approach to teaching. And of course, we said not only are the children impacted, but also the mothers. They're now they're released because they're able to take their children to school. The mothers are able to use the time for economic benefit to get into income generating activities and therefore help the whole family. And it even goes beyond that. In research, we always say we also want to impact the society and impact policy. From this research, several policies have come out, and policies. We heard that there are some policies in KU that have either been reviewed or introduced, but even policy at the Rakanithi level and policy at the national level. And therefore, we have made impact in such a way that it's not just for today, but it is also for tomorrow and for our society. And I know at Rakanithi, 3 policies were developed. There is the child care policy, which of course now enables children at age 3 to go to school. And we also have the climate smart economy policy as well, that would enable mothers and everyone else to do economic activities. And then we also have the child protection policy, so that we're sure that the child is well protected in the school environment. So really, we are pleased with the results of this project, and the impact is at 60 schools. And more so, we had a day with the leadership at the county, and the governor has committed to support other schools within the county to go beyond, so that they will support teachers to be trained and even see how they can support the production of some of these school resources. So buy-in in the project has also been important. But most of all, we worked side by side with the county. It was not about giving them the solution. It was about co-developing the project and implementing it together, so that there has been buy-in. So really, we are very happy with the way the project has gone, and we look forward to seeing more coming out of this project as it has influenced the society. We know other counties are really very interested, and so this has been a good program. I think that will be my remarks at this point. And I think
it's going to be so beneficial to us. Early childhood is a very important stage in children's life. So once it's considered the way Kenyatta University is doing, I think it will take education system to greater heights. Yeah, once it's not well aligned, then it becomes a problem all along the development areas of the children. So thank you so much for coming up with this project, and continue supporting us, especially in the model school, so that we already said that we are going to model excellence, and that is where we are heading to. So once we will become a better model when such projects come in and support us, so that we become unique. Our delivery will just not be a common delivery, because we are being supported by very quality brains around. So continue supporting us, follow up on the projects, not just a matter of sharing with us the materials and then you leave us like that. It's a bit overworrying when some of you say you don't know where we are, and yet you are supporting us. So make a point of interacting with us. Come there, then we can also monitor the way we are handling the little ones in that 3 to 4 years class. We call it the playgroup class. And then you see how they interact. Then you can see if it is worth pushing it to the other levels, like the PP1 and PP2, so that you work together and make Kenyatta University Model School a unique school as it was planned for. So we want to be unique, and thank you so much, because we are seeing ourselves heading there. Thank you.
Paul Kuria Wainaina, the Vice Chancellor of Kenyatta University, and I first of all want to say I'm really privileged to head an institution that deals with what we are talking about. I'm a trained teacher. I have taught in all those levels. I'm a trained primary school teacher. I went to Kamwenja College. That's why I was able to interact properly. And obviously, you can see we are talking about having a situation where we are emphasizing how children learn through play. And going through all this, it is obvious this is what they do. And this is probably, of course, they don't know that when they are, running or even skipping ropes, for them, it is what they have to do. But you have to identify what is really happening, what kind of development is going on. And straight away you can see most of the concept can be learned through that. The only concept, as I said, which is very difficult, even for us, is how to bring the idea of God to children. From what Professor was explaining, all this touching the past and it does not bring that idea at all. The idea of God is identified with power, We say in philosophy, all-knowing. That is somebody, if it's a person, that is beyond extraordinary, most powerful, most knowing, and also most good. Good in a sense. That is the idea of God. So you can only bring those kind of things probably where maybe in a situation the family is unable to do anything. Maybe a child is so sick and all of a sudden the child recovers. So the parents, the doctors were unable to do anything, but the child has healed. So there must be another power, extraordinary power, that has done that. So it is difficult, and I think as researchers, you need to go back and try to find out how can you bring that aspect. I think that is why we have research. That is an area where I would want to see what is in that kit for Nini, because that one we have to revise. Now, obviously, I want to appreciate what is happening. The issue of research, as Professor here said, 2020, that is when we started, and I can say I'm identified with this project. We had some issues, but I'm glad the 5-year project has come up with things that we can identify with, which is very important. This is what university is supposed to do, to help us to understand certain things. But I want you to also remember the research was not about children. The research was about women empowerment. And what they are trying to do right now is to find out, after they were able to help the mothers to get away the kids somewhere, have they improved? And I want to say this. This is a kind of research, even if you failed in your primary goal, you have still won, because we are talking about children. By isolating the children and actually developing those skills that we call foundation, even if we don't succeed on the primary goal, to me you have already actually succeeded by looking at an area where Kenyatta University is interested in. Remember, this is the institution where the issue of education is supreme. Not just as an university. All the universities you have in Kenya, the one that actually primarily deals with those issues of children is Kenyatta University. So we are saying this was a double. If you succeed in making women more productive, and also having the children having a proper foundation for learning, then it's double. And probably the donor should give you double. Yeah. So I think for me it is very, very important. I reached a stage where I want to talk about the KU family. Not just a university. This is a KU family. And because of that, we have talked about 2 schools, and there is the third one. And I think it would be a mistake just to leave it, so you need to know what to do. Anybody who has something to do at Kenyatta University is included in the family. In this family, we have all sorts of people. We have staff, we have students, we have those schools. Even if the kids come from outside, that is what I would call Kenyatta University family. It's a family. And for those who are not aware, currently, Kenyatta University is the top university in Kenya. And this is because of all those activities that we are doing to enhance. We do have our focus in terms of a university, but we go beyond that. So when one sector suffers, then the family suffers. So I want to say I'm very, very happy that the activities that we are engaging in, improving what is within our mandate, has helped this family to actually do very well. And I want us to actually continue. You have seen what actually the kind of things you have displayed. These are things that are normally used by children naturally. And the idea of play, remember, if you can recall, our parents used actually to almost like, because we are doing it too much. Sometimes, you are sent to the river, then you engage yourself in those things. Yes, it's play. But then you forget why you are where you are. I remember myself when young, you are sent with the animals, to look after animals. Then you start praying for hours. The animals will now go to people's shambas, and then, of course, in the evening, you are really thrashed. So that the play was seen like negative, even to change the mind of even the parents, to know that actually what the children are doing ought to do that for the foundation of their development. That is also important. So for me, I just want to say in general, you have done well, and I just hope that we continue working together. The issue of mentorship is also important. It is true, you may be given that box and you just, see it like, it is something which is a bother. So rather than using it, you see it as a bother. Hawa watu tu wanafanya research yao, wanatuletea. So I think we also need to see people who are passionate, who are not just there, they became teachers because there was nothing else to do. Because if that is the case, those boxes are not going to be used. So I also want to urge the teachers, starting with our primary school, the ones that are around, to think about whatever you are doing this in the name of KU family. You are part of KU family. And therefore, I think we need to have some, some mentorship. I don't know whether that can be done, so that we are able to utilize this. We are able to utilize the research. So for me, this is a very good day for KU family to meet, and we want to continue. You have been challenged by the principal. Don't just do research and give them kits. Why can't you also join them and see how these kits are being used and share ideas? I think that is what I would think will be, But I want to emphasize, whatever you are doing, if you are in this institution, if you are actually doing something like having, you are a teacher in our school, a school that is identified with KU, you must remember you are a KU family. If we do something wrong, you want us to go down. And we will not want to allow you to do that. I think that is really what I want to emphasize. That whatever KU touches is of quality. And I'm not just bragging, it is true. It is true. And I think for you to be able to utilize the research that we have done, you need to be taken through. But I'm also asking the researchers to be available, to go to those schools, have some fun with the, and see what is happening. Asante sana. You have already actually succeeded.
Now we are carrying out an impact study.
this was a double. If you succeed by looking at an area where Kenyatta University is interested in. Remember, this is the institution where the issue of education is supreme, and making women more productive, and also having the children having a proper foundation for learning.
High quality evidence has been produced, and that is what has led the implementations on the ground.
The heads of the two schools, Pamela Sichenga, the deputy head teacher of KU Model School, and Banis Mbithe, the acting head teacher of KU Academy, welcomed the project, saying that it will greatly benefit the learners and encourage continued collaboration.
Early childhood is a very important stage in children's life. So once it's considered the way Kenyatta University is doing, I think it will take education system to greater heights.
We really need the training for the teachers to know how to handle the learning materials.
KU Rehab conducted an in-depth study in Tharaka Nithi County to identify the barriers preventing women from participating in economic activities. The findings led to the creation of a randomized control trial RCT, which enabled the development of a special curriculum for 3-year-old children beginning school, along with a teacher's guide and a full set of learning materials.
We ended up agreeing that the 3 years old will be taught together with 4 years old, and for that to happen, we had to have 2 teachers in the class, so they co-teach and they share. But when the children break to smaller groups, then very specific knowledge at that age group is disseminated by one of the teachers, while the other teacher is also guiding the other children. The program then started in 2024.
We had to get permission from the Ministry of Education because currently the policy only allows 4 years to be in school. And then we had actually to develop the material.
The project has already been introduced in 60 schools across Tharaka Nithi County, a major step in supporting mothers who need a safe place for their young children while engaging in economic work.
When we go to school, the teachers say the 3-year-old have become the model for the whole school. Everybody wants to see how they are behaving, their discipline, just being courageous. And when they come to school, they are not the ones who start crying because they want to hang on the mother. As soon as the mother reaches the gate, they say bye-bye. They run to school because of this material.
KU Rehab continues to empower women while at the same time building a strong educational foundation for young children to succeed academically. Rose Kaguku, KUTV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Rose. Now, what a beautiful time to be a woman. What a beautiful time to be a lady. A time when you are given an opportunity, an equal opportunity as men to succeed in the world of business. With such research projects and findings, it's very possible or very easy for you as a woman to be successful in your respective area of business. Now, in other stories, young people in Kenya are increasingly becoming vulnerable to diabetes, a trend that experts warn is accelerating due to lifestyle changes, stigma, and limited access to early screening. This was highlighted during the World Diabetes Day commemoration held at Kenyatta University, where hundreds joined in campus walk aimed at raising awareness and offering free community screenings. The university's Vice Chancellor, Professor Paul K. Wainaina, emphasized empathy and collective responsibility.
I'm Dr. Acharya, like Macharya without the M. My grandfather was born in Kikuyu town. Yes. Acharya without the M, Macharya. Okay. So I have my Kikuyu roots, okay? Yeah. So thank you everybody for coming today. We are really looking forward to this walk, the diabetes walk, the Dia Hope walk. Hope. Without hope, there is nothing in life, right? So we want to inspire hope in everyone. Whether you have diabetes or not, the theme is wellness and well-being. We all want to be well in life, right? We want to live well. We want to be free of any medical condition. Mental health is just as important as physical health. Emotional health is just as important. When you're studying, you want to perform well and you want to achieve the best in life, right? Are we together? Yes. Education is power. That is your elimuni guvu, right? Yes. Knowledge is power. Empower yourselves. If you have a family member living with diabetes, empower that knowledge. If you have a family member living with any medical condition, hypertension, cancer, any mental ailment, empower, get the knowledge, walk with them, stand with them. We are not just walking, we are walking for a better today, a better tomorrow, a better future. Okay? Na pamoja. In unity, if you want to walk far, you walk together. You walk fast, you'll walk alone. Okay? So, I'm so grateful you're all here working with us. After the walk, please come to the amphitheater. We have psychologists, nutritionists, exercise physiologists, doctors. If you want to come and talk to us one-to-one, you can. We are available here after the walk. If you want to talk in a group, we do things in a group. There has been a team here working behind the scenes for so many days. KU, we are so happy that we are doing this together with you. A very powerful team here. VC, thank you so much with your young team working here. Dr. Wari, Kajuju, everybody, your team, thank you so much. My Diabetes Kenya team has been working. We cannot do things alone. In unity, pamoja, okay? Harambe, pamoja, all of us together. So thank you, enjoy the walk, and after the walk, don't disappear. We meet at the amphitheater and we will share knowledge, because knowledge is power. Okay, thank you, pamoja.
Power. Comrade power. I think I don't have really much to say. First of all, is to appreciate that you have come. We have been actually waiting for this day. This is a day to remember people who are suffering. To remember people who cannot walk the way we are going to walk. To give them hope. And therefore, we are saying this is an activity to remind us that there are those people who are not able to do what we are able to do. We sympathize with them, we give them hope, we tell them what to do, we tell them where to go and look for available support. And we are happy to have actually partnered with the people who really care. This is only one of the maladies, one of the things that people are going through. There are other diseases, but we are saying for today, those people who are suffering with diabetes, this is their day for us to remember. It doesn't mean after the walk, then we forget. It is to remind us that there is something that is going on. There are people who need our support, and that is why we come here to say we are with them. Therefore, we are taking this walk as an indication that we are going to be with them through and through. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, my name is Joshua Gishane. I'm a student here at Kenyatta University. I'm a postgraduate student. Today is World Diabetes Day, so it's time we like commemorate and come together as people who are living with diabetes. We get to know how each of us is doing and how each of us is handling the condition, how we can better go around things, how we can better go around nutrition, how we can better access medical care. So it's a great day for us. It's a day of networking. It's a day of getting help from bodies higher than us, like Diabetes Kenya. We also have links to international bodies like DDoC. It monitors the diabetes condition at a global level. So it's a very important day for us.
What do you think is important having such forums here at university, especially raising awareness among young people?
All right, these kind of forums are very important, raising awareness, because you find that some people are living with the conditions, but they don't really know what they are in. Some people, they could be knowing what the condition is, but they don't know the nitty-gritties of handling the situations. Like if you're a diabetic person, your diet regimen is not like the diet for another person. So like for example, your carbohydrate intake is supposed to be very well monitored. You're supposed to have a good portion of veggies in your diet, and proteins you can do a significant portion the way you like it. So it's really important to have us, the main thing is to have us very informed, so that we can make better choices in terms of food. It also affects mental wellness, your mental health issues. So when you come to such platforms, you connect, like today we had counselors, we had medical personnel here. So you're able to connect with the right kind of team to suit your needs. If you're experiencing mental health issues, we have a stand for that. If you're not very well informed about the diet issue, we had the dietitians here. So the platform is really important to really equip us with information. And also it's very important to reduce the stigmatization issue, because when you're a family now, you feel supported. You feel there are people working with you in this, and there are people who understand what is going on. So you can tap into the team for whatever kind of support you need. To those living with diabetes, it is important to be informed. Information is really important. Be informed about the diet, be informed about mental wellness issues. Know how to if for example, if we focus on the cohort of ladies that are in gestation, people that are pregnant, know how to handle your own situation. And don't feel stigmatized. Reach out for help. It's really important. The support is there are people out here to support us. So reach out to people, communicate, network. Bye.
Okay, my name is Linda Kavulani. I'm a member of the Young and Sweet group. We're a group of young diabetics. And for us today, this forum has provided a platform to create awareness about diabetes and ensure that people are aware of the disease, and in fact they get tested so that they're not caught unawares. We hope to achieve inclusivity, especially in schools, in the workplace, to ensure that people living with diabetes feel included, and that the society at large creates a conducive environment for everyone. It's very important because so many people have diabetes, but it's undiagnosed. So ensuring that we have platforms like this and providing free screening would help you detect the disease earlier, and it would help you avoid complications such as diabetes ketoacidosis, which are very life-threatening. So we need more and more awareness so that more people can take care of their health in good time.
Thank you. Okay, so first of all, can you start by introducing yourself and how you are involved in working the World Diabetes Day today?
Hello, my name is Justa Kajuju Mwenda. I am a young leader in diabetes, IDF, and founder DAOP Africa, DDoc Voice, and champion for diabetes advocacy. Also, I'm part of Diabetes Kenya, an association or the representative of IDF in Kenya. I am a mentee of Dr. Kaltinda Atieno and Dr. Gaman, who are the representative of IDF here in Kenya. I live with type 1 diabetes for now close to 8 years, and I would say that there is a need to create awareness, the need for right education, and it starts with us, it starts with me, so that we address the disparities that are in misinformation and everything in diabetes space.
Are there long terms to sustain such awareness for a long time rather than just a one day like today?
This has been a journey, and it started in 2022 when I was recognized by EastBand to do her research on DKA. I met young leaders in diabetes, and they encouraged me on how to use my voice. For the most of cases here in Kenya, we don't have people talking about it, about diabetes, because of stigmatization. So I found a need to create a community with the same goal of encouraging each other, giving each other hope, and working together to bring an impactful and longful change, which comes through policy change, which comes through coming together and addressing the main challenges of diabetes, which includes lack of primary care, misinformation, stigmatization, and all that. So it's important, and it is very dire that we should have awareness included from when a person is diagnosed, walk through the journey so that they are able to manage this condition. It's not an easy journey. So the goal is to make sure that people are aware of diabetes, are diagnosed early, they are able to manage it, and also have the right information and resources to do that. So we are looking into going to universities, tertiary institutions, going to all counties, going to the villages, trying to educate people. There is a need for that. And when people really understand, then it becomes easy for them to take care of themselves. And also, if they are diagnosed early, it's very important for them to manage the condition, which means the use of the funds that will be put into, treating the disease, the progression of the disease will be minimal. So it's very important also for the policymakers to chip in. For instance, SHA, we are having a problem there that level 1, 2, and 3. Mostly we don't get the proper professionals for treating diabetes. We get them in 4, 5, and 6, and that means the detection and management becomes hard. So we would really ask the government to look into that they increase the capitation for that, so that it is better to manage it well. It's in early stages than when it has really gone full blown. So we need that, also availability of insulin. We need that, and also subsidize on insulin. Yeah. Thank you very much.
So first of all, can you introduce yourself and how you are involved in working with the World Diabetes Day?
Okay, hello, thank you. I'm Dr. Kirtita Acharya. I'm a consultant endocrinologist and diabetes specialist working at Biashara Hospital. I'm also the president of Diabetes Kenya.
How is important is it raising diabetes among the young people?
It's very important because diabetes can affect young people. Most of them get type 1 diabetes, which is insulin dependent. The pancreas is destroyed by autoimmunity. So the pancreas is destroyed and they need insulin for the rest of their lives. But if it's well controlled, they live a normal, healthy life. However, nowadays we are seeing more and more young people getting type 2 diabetes, which is a lifestyle condition because of obesity and unhealthy lifestyles. Some young people also get maturity onset diabetes of the young. It's rare, but it happens. It's a genetic condition where they may need insulin initially and then later on they can progress to tablets. It's very important that a doctor picks this up so that they're not treated wrongly. Young girls get polycystic ovarian syndrome, a hormonal condition which can then progress to diabetes, and other hormone conditions, hormonal imbalances can also cause diabetes in young people. So there are a whole plethora of different types of diabetes that can affect the young people.
The world marks Diabetes Day every year.
Yes.
So what's your theme this year and what do you hope to achieve?
Sure. So the theme this year worldwide and in Kenya we're celebrating the same is wellness or well-being in the workplace. Now, wellness or well-being is very wide. So it encompasses physical health, so like sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, heart health, brain health, physical well-being, your weight, the ideal weight for a person. But also there are things we can't measure, but they're equally important and that impact on your health and the outcomes, prevention of complications. So things like mental health, we don't want people to get anxiety, depression, sleep issues, insomnia. Things like emotional health. People are sad these days, and that also impacts on whether they take their medication or not, whether they go see their doctor or not. Young people tend to get a lot of these, the blues, depression, and because as a result of this, they're not compliant or adherent with their medication, and then they succumb to vices like taking alcohol, smoking, drugs. So it's very important that we keep them away from this by guiding them as adults. And then psychological well-being and also financial well-being. For somebody to have a chronic condition, they need to be able to afford their medication. They need to afford the tests, the monitoring. Diabetes is an expensive disease. Not all patients are insured. Not all insurances cover diabetes. So as advocates, like for example, as president or national chair of Diabetes Kenya, myself with the rest of the strategic partners working, the government, the Ministry of Health, we have to make sure that there's equity of healthcare so that anybody living in any county in Kenya, whether they're in the slums, wherever they're living, they can afford the medication, they can afford the monitoring equipment, they can afford to see a specialist who can give them the best treatment possible. There's work to be done, but we have still achieved a lot, I think, in the last decade or 2 decades in diabetes care in the country.
What are your plans to ensure that you maintain long-term awareness beyond just this one day?
Oh, of course, World Diabetes Day cannot just be one day. I believe it should be every day. There has to be personal responsibility, so everybody out there should empower themselves. They should know their sugar status. Blood pressure is another big, dragon out there. It's not just a disease of the rich or the old, so everybody should go and get their blood pressure checked, their sugar checked. You should have the ideal weight, live a healthy lifestyle. But we need to do empowerment programs. We need to educate. Responsible media plays a big role. So it's very important to get the right messages out there, and with the right lifestyle screening. If you have a family history of diabetes, if a pregnant woman has given birth to a child that's either too heavy or too light, that woman can get type 2 diabetes later on. So knowing who is at risk, it's very important that this person gets the right follow-up and gets the right medication. There are a lot of myths circulating on social media about, cures that don't exist. People get conned as well. There are lots of myths, and irresponsible messages out there. So Kenyans need to be told what are facts and what is fiction so that they can make.
Kenyatta University joined the global commemoration of the World Diabetes Day for a campus walk and free screening campaign targeting students, staff and residents. The event, held in partnership with several stakeholders including Dear Hope Africa, brought together health advocates, specialists and youth groups working to improve diabetes awareness and early diagnosis among young people. The walk was flagged off by Vice Chancellor Professor Paul K. Wainaina.
To give them hope, and therefore we are saying this is an activity to remind us that there are those people who are not able to do what we are able to do. We sympathize with them, we give them hope, we tell them what to do, we tell them where to go and look for available support, and we are happy to have actually partnered with the people who really care.
Taking part in the initiative was Dr. Kirtida Acharya, who went on to emphasize the importance of awareness drives and early screening, noting that diabetes is now affecting young people at alarming rates, with many only discovering their conditions at late stages.
It's very important because diabetes can affect young people. Most of them get type 1 diabetes, which is insulin dependent. The pancreas is destroyed by autoimmunity. So the pancreas is destroyed and they need insulin for the rest of their lives. But if it's well controlled, they live a normal, healthy life. However, nowadays we are seeing more and more young people getting type 2 diabetes, which is a lifestyle condition because of obesity and unhealthy lifestyles. Some young people also get maturity onset diabetes of the young. It's rare, but it happens. It's a genetic condition where they may need insulin initially and then later on they can progress to tablets. It's very important that a doctor picks this up so that they're not treated wrongly.
Justa Kajojo of Dear Hope Africa acknowledged some of the challenges faced by diabetics in the country that range from misinformation or lack of information and the high cost of treatment, factors she says continues to prevent young Kenyans from seeking screening and early care.
So it's important and it is very dire that we should have awareness included from when a person is diagnosed, walk through the journey so that they are able to manage this condition. It's not an easy journey. So the goal is to make sure that people are aware of diabetes, are diagnosed earlier, they are able to manage it, and also have the right information and resources to do that.
She, however, called for stronger collaboration with government and institutions to ease access to primary health care, subsidized insulin access, and empowering the young people with accurate information.
So it's very important also for the policymakers to chip in. For instance, SHA, we are having a problem there that level 1, 2, and 3. Mostly we don't get the proper professionals for treating diabetes. We get them in 4, 5, and 6, and that means the detection and management becomes hard.
Some people, they could be knowing what the condition is, but they don't know the nitty-gritties of handling the situations. Like if you're a diabetic person, your diet regimen is not like the diet for another person.
We are a group of young diabetics, and for us today this forum has provided a platform to create awareness about diabetes and ensure that people are aware of the disease and in fact they get tested so that they're not caught unawares.
The screening exercise enables students and university fraternity to better understand how diabetes affects diet, lifestyle and long-term health. Yvonne Kimuma, KUTV.
All right, now the Kenyan government is leveraging credit inclusion, aggregation and manufacturing to accelerate the growth of micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, as key drivers of economic transformation. Speaking during the official opening of the 25th East African Community EAC MSME Trade Fair and Symposium at Uhuru Gardens, President William Ruto highlighted the success of the Hustler Fund as one of the policies fostering a conducive environment for enterprise growth.
President William Ruto officially inaugurated the 25th East Africa Community Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Trade Fair, hosted at Uhuru Gardens in Nairobi. The event, held in Kenya for the 7th time, positions the country as a regional hub for trade and innovation. Opened by the International Trade Center, the fair brings together entrepreneurs from across the East African community to explore innovative strategies for enhancing sustainability in the sector.
Let's clap for her. She comes from this team.
The head of state lauded the critical role MSMEs play in Kenya's economic transformation, describing the sector as a cornerstone of employment creation, innovation and sustainable development. He reaffirmed his administration's commitment to implementing strategic policies that strengthen enterprise resilience and competitiveness.
This gathering is a compelling validation of micro, small and medium enterprises that remain the pillar of our economies. They are the engines of job creation, drivers of innovation, and anchors of industrial growth and the driving force of our shared prosperity, not just as a region, but also as a continent. Looking at the enterprises that are exhibitors in this fair, many of them require not so much capital. They just need to enhance the finesse of what they are producing. We just need to support them the last mile. That last mile is what common user facilities can do.
On his part, the Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives and MSME Development, Wycliffe Oparanya, urged the government to address long-standing challenges faced by traders, including limited market access, restrictive policies and regulatory hurdles that continue to constrain growth.
3 areas were agreed: access to finance, and you know what we are doing as a country in that particular area. The other one was digital transformation. You know how important that area is for our country. And the last one was green technology financing. Those are the 3 critical areas we agreed during the ministerial conference, global ministerial conference in Johannesburg. But as Kenya, we have added on market access. That is very crucial for our people, and you remember when you were out there, most of those traders were talking about market access. The meeting emphasized the importance of accelerating digital transformation by expanding access to reliable digital infrastructure, promoting digital skills development and fostering innovation, friendly regulatory environments.
Kenya is expected to reap significant economic benefits from hosting the fair, including expanded market linkages across the EAC, deeper regional trade integration, and the consolidation of its position as a continental hub for enterprise and innovation.
Kama muhindi yako na ndevu anaona mbali, lakini kingi walikuwa na kitambo, walikuwa na mustache.
The 10-day event, which runs until November the 16th, has brought together policymakers from all EAC partner states to showcase the transformative power of grassroots entrepreneurship in shaping Africa's economic future.
Iko hapa hili ya nilete. Yeah, okay. Tulishindwa kufikisha hapa. It's very
Ocheng Cynthia, KUTV.
Thank you, Cynthia. Now, it's a relief for cancer patients in the country after Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital roll out the first advanced nuclear treatment technology that uses radiation to treat the deadly disease. And as KUTV's Moses Masha reports, experts say the therapy is safe and more effective than conventional methods, although its high cost may be a major barrier for many patients.
For the first time in the Kenya's history and the entire East African region, the Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital KUTRRH has begun administering diagnostic and therapeutic nuclear medicine, which involves injecting radioactive drugs directly into cancerous tumors. Dr. Harish Nagaraj, consultant and head of the nuclear medicine department at KUTRRH, says the treatment previously unavailable in Kenya's hospital requires between 4 to 6 cycles to complete, with each cycle costing approximately $10,000, equivalent to 1.3 million shillings.
I mean, like, you see, this cancer treatment is always advancing. So where we were like 5 years back and where we are currently now is different. Again, if it comes to next 5 years, the treatment will be slightly modified. So that is mainly dependent on the research activities going forward. Because if we have a newer kind of molecule which is helping the patients, it might actually be beneficial both for the country, the Ministry of Health, because the amount of money is spent on cancer treatment, you need to see the outcomes.
On the government side, the Deputy Director in the Department of Science, Research and Innovation, Dr. Frank Sawanga, says there's need to dispel misconceptions about nuclear science, which is often associated with bombs or harmful radiation.
Nuclear as medicine. You can use it to treat cancer, you can use it to diagnose cancer and many other diseases. We even use nuclear tools in a lot of our machines to do, to do diagnosis of diseases. So we want them to understand that there is a very safe way of application of nuclear, and that is what is important for us. We are not into war, so we want to apply nuclear energy to treat and address our diseases.
IAEA experts from South Africa, including Dr. Janki Kelhans and Professor Jan Zivart, emphasized the safety of this therapy, noting that radioactive drugs target tumors directly without affecting the entire body, as is the case with the traditional treatments.
This is really one of the safest, and we have very strong methods to test the quality of the products, even more so than other treatments, and so we are very sure it's very safe. Because we are working with radiation, we often get people being scared about it, and so now we have to be the most safest ever to have it work because people will be like, so no, it's really very safe, and it just goes to the tumor, which is really great, and everything else is excreted out of the body. So if it's not in the tumor, it goes outside of the patient, and also after a week the patient is no longer radioactive, so it doesn't stay in the body. This is the beauty, but it works for 2 months afterwards. So for a few days it stays in the body, but it works for a very long time, and it really has shown very promising results.
Nuclear treatment is expected to significantly transform how cancer is treated in Kenya, although the challenge of cost remains a major issue in ensuring patients' welfare. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
All right, now moving on, Kenyatta University in partnership with Safaricom launched a joint mission to plant 5 million trees by 2030. The initiative sought to increase Kenya's forest cover and calls on citizens to move from apathy to action by taking personal responsibility for growing trees, not just planting them. Safaricom's commitment to environmental conservation has now taken root at Kenyatta University. Through this partnership, the two institutions have embarked on a mission to plant 5,000 trees within the university's 1,000-acre piece of land, 500 of which are fruit trees. Representing the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Paul Wainaina, Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Research, Innovation and Outreach, Professor Caroline Thurua, emphasized the importance of the initiative in helping the university achieve its sustainability goals.
It's a partnership that we have developed over time for various activities within the university, but today we are focusing on tree planting. Today we have a target of planting 5,000 trees, and it is interesting because our target for this year is actually 130,000 trees, and therefore this will make a major step towards helping us to achieve our targets. We have already had several other sessions of planting trees, several other days, and therefore this is part of helping us to move towards achieving the target.
Safaricom continues to champion environmental conservation through various partnerships across the country, focusing on biodiversity restoration and aiming to plant 5 million trees by 2030. According to Safaricom Chief Corporate Security Officer Nicholas Mulila and Chief Consumer Business Officer Fawzia Ali, the initiative serves as a major mitigation effort against climate change by addressing carbon emissions caused largely by industries and energy-intensive activities.
When you want to conserve the environment, in an environment like ours, you start with planting trees. And we have done this for a number of years now as a company. Today, we have planted over 2 million trees in collaboration with Kenya Forestry Service.
And the reason we are doing this at Safaricom is because we want to become net zero, a company that's generating net zero into the environment by 2050. And we're doing this in two ways. On the demand side and the consumption side, we are trying, our biggest consumption of course is diesel on our sites, so we are now converting our sites to solar. As we speak, 25% of our sites are now solarized, and we are going to continue with that initiative. By 2030 we want to ensure that 100% of our sites are supported by solar. Secondly, we also make sure that how we've built the offices, we are also trying to conserve energy. So we have lights that have motion sensors that only come on when people are in the room, and during the day we have natural lighting.
However, the program faces challenges, including the impacts of climate change, limited access to partners, and shortages of quality seedlings. To improve tree survival rates, Safaricom has developed a digital app that monitors the growth of each tree planted.
We just have to find a way, because the rains are not coming in the way that we were expecting. So it's about finding a way in which we can plant the trees in the October season so that it very much coincides with the April season. By the time we get to the long rains, the trees that we have planted now have a much higher rate of survival. But in that period between October and April, where there is requirement for substituting with water, that's why we have to plant them close to community so that the watering can continue.
Despite the hurdles, Mulila assured that this partnership marks just the beginning of deeper collaborations with the university. ANYANGO SYLVIA, KUTV. All right, news done, and now we are seated, ready to keep you updated on the state of the nation. And at this point, we are going straight into our discussions. Before we get to that, let me read you the headlines that we're having this morning once again. The Standard says, police bribe racket. The Star says, 2027 epic race, Ruto numbers against Kalonzo, Gachagua. The Daily Nation says, Hackers Paradise, and we have Taifa Leo says wachezea na rafu, that is maneno ya siasa, and we have the People Daily saying who will win Mount Kenya vote, the crucial factors poised to shift the rest. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our guests are already in studio. Before we get into the discussion, allow me have the guests introduce themselves. Let me begin with my immediate right.
Secretary General of United Patriotic Movement.
Karibu sana KUTV.
Also a graduate in Atlanta Institute of Multi-Party Democracy.
Wow, congratulations.
Kabisa, asante and good morning. My name is Ojwang, mtoto wa Mariam, senior warrant officer 1, Lieutenant Kanali, and if you are a Kenyan, Kenya naye, lakini Kenya wake usi Kenya because of being a communications expert, community leader, inclusivity, peace and sustainability advocate. I'm so glad to be here in company of ladies. Studio ni tamu hii side, ile side ingine ndo wanakushirikia. Sasa anajua itakuwa conversation tamu.
All right, karibuni sana.
Asante.
Let's begin from what you're having, what you're currently experiencing in the country, or what you're expecting next week. That is on Thursday, the 27th of November 2025. We're expecting to have by-elections, and from what I see, this has turned to be national politics. Watu wa Mbeere, watu wa Magarini walikuwa wanataka to their local politics, but at the moment everything has turned to national conversations, into a national conversation where we have leaders from the government fueling government vehicles to go and pitch camp. Yesterday we had the deputy president say that he's just started, he's just landed, he's going to spend 10 days in Mbeere North to ensure that the UDA candidate is voted in. We also have Gachagua. It's like if you've watched Game of Thrones, you understand the bastard battle. Now this is the deputy's battle. We have that is Gachagua also pitching camp and doing his campaign for their candidates. Now McKenna, let me just begin with you. From where we sit, having all the leaders from the government and oppositions all coming in, we have the rule, of course, which says that if you're appointed in office or elected in office, you have your constitutional responsibility. But we've seen these leaders abandon their responsibility, getting back to the grassroots to campaign for these leaders. That is not even so much to talk about, or not a concern. What my concern is this ripping off the will of the people to elect their own leaders, because we've seen we didn't see much of elections at party levels to determine who wins, but just picking the leader. You'll represent the UDA, you'll represent the United Democratic Movement, and you'll represent the United Opposition. We have the DCP, parties like DCP pulling out their candidates. So is this pulling out the will of the people to elect who they really want, and now they'll have to incline to what the party says? If you're following UDA, you have to elect the UDA party. You don't have the will of choosing your own leader. What does this say about this mode of campaign to you?
So in terms of that, thank you, Sylvia. One, we have to understand that when it comes in political parties, there is something we call zoning. When we say zoning, that means even in United Opposition, Wiper would have wanted very much to field a candidate in Mbeere. But because of, the will also, you check the will of the people at that time, which candidate are they inclined to much more, you understand? And it also matters of the constitution. We are a country which treats the constitution, which is the backbone and the foundation of what safeguards and dictates how we move forward, as suggestions and not laws. So apparently we are going against the law, but we don't care. So now we have by election being treated as a measure of who has more say than the other person. When you look at in areas such as Mbeere is clustered as the Mount Kenya region. A Mount Kenya region where the deputy president, the current deputy president, says this is my area, while we have the deputy president of the people also says this is my bedroom, you should not enter my bedroom. So after the elections of 27th, definitely the people are being deprived the will to choose the candidates they would want much more, because it's only two candidates here who are being fueled to become leaders of different statures. In the current situation where these leaders are not even talking about themselves, but it is other people who are talking about this particular leader. So the people will not elect this leader as a leader. For example, let's use McKenna. If McKenna is campaigning and Gachagua is campaigning for me, we have Kalonzo campaigning for me, we have Leni Kivuti campaigning for me, we have Mheshimiwa, the Attorney General, alikuwa anaitwa nani?
JB Muturi.
Yes, JM Muturi campaigning for me. It is, do you like J Muturi? Yes. So you'll vote a candidate who is influenced to JB Muturi. Do you like Gachagua? Yes. So you'll vote a candidate who is influenced to Gachagua. So at the end of the day, you come to realize that we are depriving the people the will to do democracy, because we have become dictators to dictate for them what to do and how to do it. Yeah.
All right, that's well said. Ojwang, what's your opinion on this?
They say democracy is a government of the people, for the people and by the people. But Charles Darwin always insisted that it is a struggle for the fittest, only the strong to survive. In the current economic times, if you don't have money, you feel weak or not enough. They will call muscle as money. That's why the current government Kenya Kwanza inasemekana imemwaga pesa mingi. You'll hear kumemwaga pesa mingi Mbeere North, kumemwaga pesa mingi Malava, because they believe muscle is money. But power is something that has to be taken, not to be given. That is why an impeached deputy president will still go back to the people, because it is not the people who directly impeached him. It is an idea from the head of state to the parliament to the senate. Saizi tuko mahali kotini. So the people bado hawajawahi pata chance ya wao kuongea. Democracy dictates that the majority should have their way, na sisi minority tutakuwa bado na a say. It's a say in a way zinatafutwa in Mbeere North and in all these constituencies and wards mahali kuna by-elections. It is a true test of how 2027 will be like, because election is not a one-day affair. Election is a process. And the new government of 2027 will start to be formed on 27th November 2025. Those MPs who will be elected will be either from the united opposition or from the Kenya Kwanza. No, you need a broad-based size. From the broad-based. Juu, in places like where Boyd Were is campaigning, it is known that ODM has more influence. Hamwezi piga ODM juu iko na influence hapo, because power resides with the people. In fact, hiki chama si chenyewe chenye kina rule. Sijui kama unanielewa, kina rule, but si chenyewe chenye kina rule. That's why ODM keep insisting we have never taken power. We need to form government or be in government. So ODM inabeba hapo. Pwani kuna vile vile. In fact, Pwani is an ODM candidate versus UDA candidate. Lazima kila mtu atatokea na kutafuta power. Kama hana pesa atatumia maneno ya kuwauza watu. That is why in places like Mbeere North, where is Wamodhende versus Newton Karish, watu wanasema it is hard to sell Wamodhende. Si jua kuna pesa. Watu wanaingia wanapewa 10k, siyo ni pesa. But Wamodhende akiambiwa shika mic, ongea na hawa watu, alafu wape Newton Karish. Obviously, Newton Karish seems to be washing the DP himself, Professor Kithure Kindiki. You will hear him narrate a series of problem. Anakuja anaambia hawa watu, watoto wetu wananyimwa kazi, hiyo ni fire, si fire. What will you say? Fire. But that is decampaigning someone else who is a DP. And then in hii quest ya kupata power, unatoa mtu kama Attorney General, unamweka public service, unamtoa, and then unachukua MP hapo kwao, unakuja unaweka huyo. Hiyo ndo kumaliza. Had Rigathi call it kuua na kuzika. People, sisi ndio tunafaa tukuwe na clarity, so that we are able to know who anatusaidia na huyu hatusaidii. Because the same people who are the most powerful saizi ndo hawatusaidii. If you ask Diana, she'll tell you it's because ni watoto wa Kanu basket and we need something new. But hapo wanasema what do we do 2027 kama hakuna mtu new? Basi what we'll do, wakiweka mbuzi hapa na Ruto hapa, tachagua mbuzi. Because people care about the current state. Haifai, sio fiti. We need a change. Ni sawa nyinyi mnatuambia hatuna hiyo change, but we still need a change.
All right. Now, now that we're still talking about the 2027 politics, the Star is giving statistics here. saying that President William Ruto has a upper hand if he inherits Raila's entire voting bloc. And they've listed the 24 counties that has Ruto's basis. And the interesting ones is the mention of Kisumu, Siaya, Homa Bay and Migori counties, Kakamega, Vihiga and Busia counties, which right now are battlegrounds. And they have mentioned the opposition bases. And this majorly includes the let me just say the Mount Kenya regions, including Nyamira, Kisii and Nakuru counties, saying that these are now opposition bases and these are President Ruto's bases. Do you agree with this narrative that President William Ruto, this is for you, McKenna, I'll begin with you, that President William Ruto has a upper hand in terms of influence in the country at the moment?
Yes, definitely. When we look in the aspect of this person already has the machinery, that's the country machinery. This person already has the resources and is able to influence these resources. Definitely we'd say this person has the upper hand. But you have to sit down and ask yourself, between the elections of 2022 and 2025, are we still in the same platform? Or what has changed in between there? Which are the influences which have been brought up between that duration of time? That's a question you also have to ask yourself. Because at the end of the day, when we say he has Kakamega, the western area, we have seen in the campaigning of Malava, he has no western person who is going there to help UDA campaign there. Because people like Dr. Boni Halwale, people like Natembea, we have people like Malala, they are busy campaigning for an opposition candidate against the UDA, who is Seth Panyako. They are campaigning for Seth Panyako. So you have to sit down and ask yourself that if all these people who are behind UDA back then and now they are behind the opposition, what brings it out? And also we have areas in areas such as in Nairobi. Nairobi is a very contentious area where we have all the parties, all the bigwigs parties determining who gets what and what gets what. If, for example, let's take Embakasi, Honorable Mawathe is a Wiper MP, Sindio, from Embakasi? South. Embakasi South, Sindio. Mm-hmm. That's a Kamba region. Majority are Kambas and what have you. Most of the ODM people who won back then, it was also because of what we call political zoning. You understand? That now this is our area, and what happens in this area, we give this particular candidate. So you, Wiper, withdraw your candidate, we give this, other we let the ODM person go ahead. You understand? But now we have a problem where in areas such as Githurai, Roysambu, those areas, if DCP and Jubilee join hands, then you'll get them cutting Nairobi at 60%, and letting the opposition, and letting the government have 40%. Because UDA currently, we have said it is mainly populated with people with Kalejins, you know. I'm not being tribal, I'm just trying to analyze politics as they are. And also the other part, when we talk about population, we get Luyas at number 2 after the Kikuyus. So we have to sit down and ask ourselves, that is why some Luyas are able to win in such an area. But now Luyas are being swayed to go to the opposition side, and they have a majority number. What will happen then? So at the end of the day, you come to understand, even if we are saying that UDA or William Samoei has an upper hand in the coming elections, let us talk in terms of the resources he has. But in terms of the will of the people, then it is something which is so much different. Mm-hmm. Because we have seen the representative of the people. You see, when we see, for example, when we see Mwafrika, we know that all the people of Roysambu are behind Mwafrika. You understand? When we talk of our Matangis, the current governor, and we don't know if he's coming back, you know, Gachagua calls them Matangi wa Makeki. He gives them very, very funny names, huh? But we get to understand this is the will of the people. But now when the people will start turning out and saying otherwise, then you have to understand that the upper hand you had in this area is now out of place. So the by-elections which we have come November 28th, those will be the key determinants of whether this person still has an upper hand in these areas. If Mbere, Newton Karish wins ADP candidate wins, then understand Kithure Kindiki, that is not, Mount Kenya is not his area. And what will go ahead, him being outwitted as the deputy president come 2027 elections. If Seth Panyako wins in Malava, that is meaning president doesn't have, now UDA government doesn't have any say in Western area. That one. If Magarini candidate, if they win with a very small margin, know that also ODM is losing muscles even in its own area. Because Boyd might win, but between Boyd and Aroko might be a very small margin. When this small margin is there, that meaning if we put more resources on these people, then we can be able to influence more people towards buying the other side. So at the end of the day, it's clashy, it's shaky. Yeah, 2027 will be a very interesting year. Since now we have tweeted one kingpin out, right. It will be very interesting.
Now, Ojwang, if at all Ruto manages to split ODM successfully, because we all know that Ruto ni baba wa siasa, and I've heard most analysts say that he uses divide and rule tactics, blah 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 blah. But now, if he manages to split ODM party, do you think splitting ODM party, of course getting also influence in those regions, do you think this will give him an upper hand when it comes to winning the 2027 election?
If we look at things in what we call black and white, or layman's terms, or status quo, or what an ordinary Kenyan would think, then President Ruto has an upper hand because of power of incumbency. Power of incumbency puts all security organs under his care. So if he wants to go and campaign to a certain place, he will just use his CS for internal security and interior coordination. Polisi si watamfuata. Such things ndio tuna call muscles, that when I want to campaign, do I have police to provide security, or do I have police who are here to try and arrest me? Because nowadays abduction zinaenda zikiisha fashion hapa nchini Kenya. If tumefika mahali karao wa traffic akiingia kwa gari, watu wenye kwa hiyo gari watamwambia hapana, manze tunaenda kazi, and there is no way we will give you leeway to pull us through tuende huku tukazurure ndo tukufurahisha wewe juu huyu kijana ana hongo. So police ni kitu important sana. Kitu kingine ni pesa, na akonazo yeye juu akona power of incumbency. But how did he get there? Did he get legitimacy after getting there? Because kuongea ukweli wa Mungu, Jaji Mkuu Martha Koome alisema kesi zote na hiyo kanta ilikuwa imebeba evidence ya azimio yote ya kusema huo uchaguzi haukuwa free and fair, ilikuwa ni hot air. Hot air, unasoma hizo evidence zote unasema manze ni hot air. But aliipata. Kwa nini? Juu sisi tunaheshimu katiba. Shida ukuwa huyu akona goodwill ya kuheshimu katiba. If ni yeye angekuwa the other side, kungekuwaje? Pia the difference yenye ilimweka hapo inatoshanaje? For the very first time ilikuwa ni 200k votes.
200k votes kwa nchi yenye tunasema sisi tunakuaga wakora sana. Vitu zingine tunaekaga juu sisi ni wakora. Na juu sisi kama Wakenya ni wakora, we need huyu president ndo akuwe na legitimacy. 50% imchague plus 1. Alafu more than 24 counties. Si 24, more than 24. Gazeti umeshika hapo ya The Star inasema status quo, judging from 2022 numbers, President Ruto has 24 counties. He still can't win leo hata akashinda hizo 24 counties zimchague, because we need more than that for the sake of kitu inaitwa legitimacy. Ndo tusikue kama Tanzania mahali mtu ameshinda na 98%, lakini si hao 98% wataenda kumwapisha, ni jeshi na presidents kadhaa wenye watatuma deputy wao juu hadi our chair wa EAC hakutokea hiyo swearing in ya Mama Samia Suluhu. So hapa hivi kwake Ruto kukuwa na upper hand yote yako based na November 27th. Because 2022 that Mbeere North Ruto won because JB Muturi, the former speaker, former AG and former CS public service, was on his basket with the party DP. He doesn't have that now. We can't call that an upper hand. But if he wins, if Wamodede wins on 27th, then the Mount Kenya will have stamped that Kindiki is truly legitimate because he has at least watu. And Ruto is 2-term. Because every day Ruto wins, 2-term gets sweeter. Baba akisema Ruto tutafanya kazi na yeye, Ruto anaendelea kuchange, anakuwa mtu mzuri. If God's willing ama God's will atashinda Malava, Seth Panyako atashindwa, who is coming from KMPDU, you can remember Seth Panyako akiongelelea manasi na madaktari. Akishindwa kwa kampeni yenye huko Malava, Daktari Boni Halwale alikuwa kwa kampuni ya nani? Ya Ruto, kwa sababu yeye waliweza kuford chama kilichokimweka mbele cha Ford, akasema mimi nimefold Ford, nasimama senator na UDA, na akashinda. But after kushinda, saa hizi 2025, 2 years down the line, hayuko saidia kambi ya Ruto. Ako hapo hivyo anakampenia candidate wa DAP K, si ndio? So if Seth Panyako atashindwa, then Ruto ni 2-term huko.
All right. Thank you. Now moving on matters of corruption. We have the Standard saying that 1,000 shillings is paid to the police as protection fee demanded from each vehicle. 200 to 1,000 shillings bribes demanded per person from matatus on Ngong Road route. And the Standard are talking about a systemized or officialized, if that is English, form of corruption. And this is the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission report paints a picture of institutionalized extortism from matatus and boda to bars and city traders, which officers threatened, transferred or framed if they failed to deliver. They're given targets. I remember we once mentioned it, I think here, where we were saying that those guys, we keep saying polisi wanachukua hongo na hawakui matajiri, what's happening? And it's because wanachukua lakini si yao. They have a target. Unaambiwa leo ukirudi hapa make sure umerudi na 100,000 Kenyan shillings. So they are pushing to get to the target. And are the people who are living, I wouldn't say the most substandard life, but if you look at the whole of public service, the police officers are the ones who are most mistreated. So what does this say about our ways of dealing with corruption cases in the country? Because it's not like the president is not aware, it's not like EACC is not aware, it's not like the relevant bodies to tackle this are not aware, but it's like it's a deliberate choice to do nothing. What does this say about the steps that we are in terms of managing corruption in our country?
Thank you. So I said earlier that we are a country which treats laws as suggestions. Even when you pass wrong side, because there is no traffic police officer who is there, you have broken the law. Even you, when you use a back door to enter a certain institution, because you know someone who is inside there, you have broken the law. So when we Kenyans, we come to realize we are the carriers of this corruption. It is not the police officer who is the carrier of this corruption. The other day we saw Jajia, and I say congrats to him. I hope you saw that clip where he was blocking a GK vehicle for it to, because it had passed the wrong side, he ended it the right side. Those are such Kenyans which we want, because at the end of the day, we are the carriers of that corruption. If you don't give that police officer that 100 shilling, if your car upholds the correct regulation, if you have a license, if everything in your vehicle is as it is supposed to be, so why would you fear not to give this police officer money? So corruption, when we talk of corruption, it is not about they, it is about me and you, because you are the facilitators of this corruption. We are the carriers of this corruption. Unless to issues such as embezzlement of public funds. For example, we had the NYS scandal, which took a lot of people home. It was there, but after the NYS scandal, we came to meet the core culprit of this scandal, going back to Vias governor with the same money which was used here. We have things such as the Eurobond. If you remember the Eurobond case, till to date, we don't know, we don't understand where this money ended up in. Last month, we had an Okwa Uchumi, it's called Okwa Uchumi Conference, where different CSOs, which mainly deal with social accountability, we came up to sit down and ask ourselves, where are the receipts of this and this? Because we are a country where it will come a time, Sylvia, and you will be paying audacious debts. This meaning debts which have not been used in certain projects. As you are here, ukikata pesa ya affordable housing, already tushachukua loan ya kujenga affordable housing, na wewe unakatwa hiyo pesa bado. You know how deep that is. The other part, pesa SGR yenye tulichukua, even in the next 30 years, SGR will not be contributing to our economy, because we will be paying this debt. Currently, we are sitting at 12 trillion? 12 trillion. In a period of 3 years, we have borrowed more than 5 trillion. Projects not seen. But here we are borrowing and borrowing and borrowing again, which says soon and soonest we shall be at a point where we will be having inflation and our economy will not be moving. We have the other thing which we call the local debts, which are also high. That meaning the common mwananchi currently is not getting the loan. I've heard you reading about the microfinance, the MSMEs. Currently, they are not getting that money. That's why it led to closure of so many circles, because the money, the currency was not flowing. There was no that cash flow of the currency, because these banks, they give the government the money, because I remember we owe NCBA, we owe CTN, we owe Equity. If you look who is the owner of NCBA, you will come to realize NCBA is alienated to the Kenyatas. Okay, so imagine when Uhuru was coopering, alikuwa najikopa in the name of the nation, because our constitution says that our first priority is to pay debts. In the current money we have to pay debts. In the 100 shillings which Kenyans take from you as a tax, let's say every day, around 60 goes in paying debts. Okay, for 30 goes in repaying the recurrent expenditure, then 10 goes to repay, goes in development. Okay. That is why currently we have been having such issues such as someone wants to launch infrastructure funds, someone wants to launch social wealth funds in taxpayers' money. So when we talk of corruption, the local corruption, such as the corruption of police officers, it is me and you. School corruption and everything, it is me and you. When we stay silent, ni sisi wenyewe tunaumia, lakini we start saying them. But where is the them getting the money? From me and you.
All right. I heard someone say that the moment Alianza for experience soft life, she began understanding corruption, the positive effects of corruption. Now, Ojwang, because time is not really on our side, I'd like for you to give us your brief remarks on how accountable we are as Kenyans, and also a story of choice that will serve as your final remark.
I'll pick the story on corruption because it covers all of us, but we fail to recognize that we are corrupt. We are corrupt as a country if we keep tolerating corruption. I had a president, or our president, complain about how the parliaments are extorting from him and the executive through corruption. But he never said where, or he never talked about where he declined. We just see bills pass. Today, if I'm caught by a police, maybe not me, but us, we will want first to pay bribe, rather than tuongelele kuhusu habeas corpus, sheria gani nimevunja na ni vipi nimevunja na maswala kama hayo. We need what I keep saying, goodwill. Because corruption is corruption because there is give and there is take. Who gives, who takes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for making time for us this morning. I'm looking time, muda wetu meisha, I would have given, but Makona, you can say final words before we bring this to an end.
My final words is a call to everyone that come, let us register as voters, let us show up to vote, because when we make it too big to rig, then it becomes impossible for the numbers. Elections are not stolen. Hakuna kitu kama kuibiwa kura or anything. We have the best electoral system. The key problem we have is in matters of transmission and also people coming forward to vote. So let us vote, let us become civic citizens and responsible citizens. Yeah.
All right. What a beautiful way to end Biashara Tuesday on this 18th day of November 2025. That brings us to the end of it. Until from us.
Tuna pull up, mraia watuta, tuko juu ya nduthi na backup ya Uber, mademo na kachunli, maboss chiki huda, venyo anastaga nikawa na banjuka, dem chuma batana de kuchungwa, hiyo tena iwezi juu tu tumeanza dunda, itabaki wametokwa kamlango haijafungwa, hizi bunda zafa kupigwa bunda, na jaza meza pamoja na ukuta, juu hizi bunda zina